Welcome back to another episode of 5 Minutes With on BluHorn TV. I'm Susan St. Dennis, and today we're joined with a very special guest, Danny Monzon with DM Digital. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Susie.
Of course, it's a real honor. So the first question I have for you is, how did you get your business started?
The DM Digital was born maybe about 6 years ago, although not officially, but I conceived it in my mind and in my heart after freelancing in the digital marketing realm for a number of years and getting the attention of local agencies. I figured, hey, I'm just going to formalize DM Digital. And about 18 months ago, I formalized the thing here in Florida.
Wow, well, congratulations. So you're relatively new then.
I'm new as a business owner, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's, why did you decide to get into the world of digital?
Well, let me backtrack a couple of decades ago. So I was a club promoter back in New York City in 1999. For about 4 years, I was passing out flyers and doing that guerrilla marketing, with very little results, right? So I would pass around my flyers and I would see people look at my flyers and throw them in the street, right? Littering in the streets of New York, what do you know, right? So I figured, I'm going to take my invitations and I'm going to put them on the internet. And that's when things started to happen. That's when people started coming to my parties. That's when my personal brand started to gain, more exposure in that niche. So since then, I took an interest in advertising and just sharing my message, sharing my stories online.
Wow, so that's like a real success story. You kind of came from the bottom and then got to the top. That's crazy.
Pretty much, yeah, you can say that.
Wow. Obviously being in New York and all that's so interesting, and then now you're here.
Yes.
So what would be a recent success story with your current business?
Well, we got hired last year by a bigger agency in a bigger market up north to translate some campaigns for a beverage that's going to be launched by a very famous retired athlete, and that's as much as I can say. But it's very exciting to see these, these bigger agencies just reach out to me just because of the type of work that I could provide, reaching the Latino market.
No, absolutely, and actually, I do want to talk about the Latino market because I think last time you came on, you did discuss. I think we did have a discussion about this, about reaching that market and how important it is to kind of reach those sectors.
That's correct, yeah.
What advice would you give to companies with wanting to reach minority communities and getting that outreach?
Well, it's a great question. I think that a lot of brands are doing it right, but there are other brands who think that just by translating material and content into Spanish, they are reaching us as Hispanic American consumers. I believe that it's important to micro-segment those Spanish-speaking consumers by where they come from, right? Besides age, gender, and the major segmentations, where we come from, it's very important because my friends from Mexico might like some things that I might not be very in tune with coming from South America, and vice versa. Yeah,
no, absolutely. That's a really good point. And going off of that, what changes are you seeing in the digital community right now over the past 5 years? What direction do you think we're going, and what changes have you seen?
Oh wow, that's a loaded question. I think we need several segments for this answer. But yes, so many changes in the past 5 years. In fact, changes in the past 1 year, have been quite significantly. I specialize in automation. So about a year ago, automation and chatbots were the hot thing. This year, a lot of people have had negative experiences with spammy bots and people, overexcited marketers who don't read the terms of service and get the consumers, tired of these automated messages. So automation is one thing to keep an eye on. It's where things are going, but it needs to be executed properly with the right strategy.
No, absolutely. And we really appreciate having you on. This is a very interesting interview.
Sure.
how can people get in contact with you if they want to reach you? What's the best way to do that?
Best way is to go to my website. My website is my hub, where you can find my social channels, etc. That is DannyMonzon.com.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for watching another episode of 5 Minutes With on BluHorn TV. I'm Susan St. Dennis, and we'll see you next time.